This is a Nekko Media podcast.
What's your pleasure, sir?
Welcome. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to episode 10, The Lady or the Tiger. How fucked up did y'all get New Year's Eve? Hit us up with stories and fails. Your misery is our milk toast. Me, I got super ass fucked up in the lab. Blood flowed like wine and I drank my kitty ass silly. Y'all know who I be? Annika P, Cinderella Hellborn, mother of Grendel, bringer of chains, fuck up faces, full-time soul breaker, dog raper, and gun-toting cheese lobbyist. And my boys?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Onofre, and thanks for stopping by. Hope everyone had a wonderful New Year's.
I'm Mox, thanks for joining us. I'd like to send a shout out to the homie Dason McCoy, and to the homies that Don't Go Down That Road, Games and Graphics, Basement Condition, Clock Dodgers, Beers, Buds Brutality, and to all of our followers, friends, and listeners. Happy New Year to you all. Also, a big fuck you to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. A plague on both your houses.
So what y'all ninjas been up to since the last app?
Just made a nice stop in Las Vegas for a week, visiting family, of course, and just hanging out, catching up on movies and music, and started my New Year's resolution yesterday. I had a salad and went for a run. Yippee.
Getting swole, trying to get back into jiu-jitsu, but I'm too fucking fat for my gi. I guess I could go no gi, but that just feels super gay.
Yes, rolling around with other men while wearing a robe is much less gay.
Burn!
It's called self-defense, ass.
Is it? Because when a man and a woman do that kind of self-defense, they sometimes make a baby.
Burn.
Fuck you guys. Now that you mention it though, watching two girls roll no-gi can be kinda hot. So anyways, yeah, that's what I've been up to. That and drinking, which goes against my no carbs resolution.
What about light beer?
What about light beer? You mean Milwaukee's mistake?
Actually, Brooklyn's mistake. Google says light beer was invented by Joseph Lawrence Awadis at Rheingold Breweries in Brooklyn, New York.
Who cares? Fuck light beer. Would you watch light horror? Or light sci-fi? Or would you fuck lightly?
You know, you don't always have to fuck her hard. In fact, sometimes that ain't right to do.
Sometimes you gotta make some love. And fucking give her some smooches too.
Sometimes you got to squeeze. Sometimes you got to say please. Sometimes you gotta say,
Hey! Dummies. For haters of musicals, you realize we bust into song every fucking episode.
That's kind of true.
and we have an animal sidekick.
Wow. We're basically Disney princesses.
Did you just call me a sidekick?
Ooh, if you're a Disney princess, what would your name be?
Guantanavir. She's the princess of the kingdom of terrorist prisons. Her
Jesus.
father wants her to inherit the throne, but she dreams of a life without torture and disgusting guys with beards. You?
I'd be Princess Bonifacia, heir to a city rich in agriculture. We have lots of gardens and farms, a major exporter of vegetables and beef. We also provide much of the needed materials required to manufacture medicines and vaccines.
Oh, green.
The Slashtag configuration.
I feel like Disney wants to make all their cartoons ethnic now. So Guantanavir could be Israeli, and she falls in love with one of the Arab prisoners.
And they could do a musical number called Our Love is the Bomb. Jesus, my God. Whoa.
I need a new post.
All right. Welcome to the new year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to the Slashtag configuration. Today we're going to be talking about Passengers, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Chris Pratt,
Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen, and Lawrence Fishburne. And also Andy Garcia's on the list too.
Cameo.
Yeah. The movie is directed by Morton Tildum, who also did The Imitation Game.
Hey, that was a good one.
Yeah.
The story of Alan Turing and the first computer.
And it was written by John Spates. who also did Doctor Strange. And Prometheus.
Oh wow.
So, Passengers. Okay, so brief summary without getting too much. We'll just go by the trailer. It's basically a spacecraft traveling to a distant colony planet, transporting a bunch of people.
A couple thousand people.
A couple thousand. In the movie, they say 5,000. 258 in crew.
I know they instilled that like 3 times. So yeah, 258 crew, 5,000 passengers.
And 2 hibernation pods open up too soon. So it's a 120-year trip.
Well, let's just say a few hibernation pods malfunction and open early.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you this from the beginning. The trailer builds up that it infers that there's some sort of twist to why they specifically were open. There isn't. This is not a sci-fi movie. There is no twist ending. It's just straightforward, and it's drama/romance. There are no creatures, in case you thought that the passengers might be creatures.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it then. Yeah, so basically that's it, and they're trying to figure out why they were.
Yeah, it's really not any more complicated than that. They're not even trying to figure out why their thing got opened. They're trying to figure out how to get back to sleep or how to make do with the hand they've been dealt now that they're awake 90 years too early.
Yeah. So yeah, throughout the movie, you can think of it as Castaway. I thought of it as
yeah, me too. I kind of fell asleep.
Meets Color of the Night.
No, it was more tasteful. It was more tasteful and less gratuitous.
Yeah,
I hate gratuitous sex scenes.
So it was just like a one phase in the movie where they're just basically going
2 back-to-back scenes where they kiss, disrobe off screen, and then boom, we cut to the next. They're laying in bed, and we assume it was a good time.
And yeah, that's it. And so the movie, it's very sci-fi drama. Yeah,
because it takes place in space.
Yes.
So this is space-fi.
Space-fi. So
there is no science at play in here. There is no.
It was more mechanical issues, maintenance. Yeah.
Well, it's philosophy, I think. But yeah, there was a lot of mechanical issues that needed to be dealt with, and lucky thing, he happens to be a mechanic.
So
why him?
What do you think it was more philosophical? The story.
The story is, what do you do with your life with the hand? Nothing turns out as you had planned. That doesn't have to be a bad thing, but that doesn't mean we can't direct to some level the way in which our life happens. We can't control events around us that unfold, but we can control what we make of them. And I think that's what the story is about.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, what else?
Which is pretty trite.
Yeah.
When you expect to see something like, why did our pods open? There's got to be creatures. But if you don't approach it with that, if you just want to see, story about good-looking people finding each other in space, making the best out of a bad situation, it succeeds.
Yeah. Well, in this one, it's almost like a cruise, like a one-way.
It reminded me of WALL-E too a little bit.
WALL-E, yeah.
Except everybody wasn't obese.
But in this one, everything's prepaid, so you pay for like Chris Pratt could only get coffee
at his level. Yeah.
At his pay level, what he paid for, and then J-Law's got the gold premium first class seats with eggs and bacon for breakfast.
I don't know her. Well, I guess she has a menu of shit she can choose from.
Yeah.
And that's what she chose, and that's cool. But I don't know. You need to load me down with bacon, sausage, rice, eggs, kind of deal. I don't want this fucking. Was that French pancake shit? Crepes. I don't want that, and I don't want chunks of fruit and shit.
Turns out Chris Pratt's character is a mechanical engineer, and J-Law's character
is he a mechanical engineer? Because he referred to himself as a mechanic. That's a huge gap in skill set.
Well, if you on his I guess tag or profile on his pod, it says mechanical engineer.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
He is quite a clever guy.
Well, I guess mechanic would be a
general it's just term. When I hear it, I ultimately
just
think of the bottom level mechanics. that guy trying to rip off your mom. Them,
Hey, you
like,
can hook me up with
you
on
gotta
safety check.
yeah, you
You
gotta
give me a
change all
sticker.
this. 15 only,
You
15.
can give me the sticker. I need a sticker. And J Law's character is actually journalist.
Journalist, author, writer, probably blogger.
In the future, it'll be vloggers. Not even vloggers. Everyone has their own TV station channel now. So,
Probably.
yeah.
They don't give you a time, a year frame of reference when this story is set, but it's got to be hundreds of years in the future, just because planetary colonization is not a new thing. In fact, it's big business.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and you can choose to go off world because they do mention that Earth is overpopulated. And so
Yeah, Earth is overpopulated and expensive.
expensive.
So why not, go to this new planet that's like the Stone Ages
Yeah, yeah.
and build up from the bottom up?
But and then they point out in the movie that hibernation failure doesn't happen, so it by chance it happens. But I mean, I could have been a failsafe for the scenario they were placed in, and I think I think it was already I like to think it was pre-programmed.
For
Like in a situation like when the meteor
hits you,
hit,
open one random guy who's happens to be an engineer.
I wouldn't say random, but it's if you have a list of engineers, and then
Wouldn't the failsafe be to open one of the 258 crew members who are familiar with the ship?
it could be, yeah, that would have been more likely. But then it's like if they fail, then you got 5,000 people who are like on their own. So I don't know. Well, I guess
They're reading too much into it. It's not a story about science or about twists or about
But
destiny.
why
It's
Chris Pratt?
manifest destiny.
Why Chris Pratt, the mechanical engineer? Anyway, but that's the scenario. Because in the beginning, it opens up with the ship. There's actually like a
Being
shield.
hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just so happened to go like. See again, if they knew there was an asteroid field,
They didn't.
they
They planned for somewhat of an asteroid field. But,
like. Oh yeah, I guess if you were to like hit it, that's why they have that shield. But I mean, like you
but they
plan
got
your
hit
route.
with like the fucking Armageddon rock.
So,
It's like the size of Texas.
it's the size of Texas, Mr. President. Oh my god. Oh, okay. But other than that, the movie, yeah, it's a driving story because you're curious as to where Chris Pratt is gonna take this, and then J Law gets into the scenario,
Yeah.
and then another character. Well, just we won't spoil. We won't spoil it now, but it's got its up. Well, no, there is no downs in this movie. It's all upward.
Yeah. I mean, what do you mean downs as a
Like it
cons?
doesn't drag. The movie doesn't drag at all.
Well, for you, I fell asleep.
He did.
I fell asleep for a little bit. I woke up all of a sudden when I heard J Law's voice. She's like, "Hello." I was like, "Oh shit!" I hear Katniss. I best to look what's going on. And then it then picked up again.
Yeah.
And it finishes strong.
It does.
To me. It
Yeah.
finishes strong, if a little overextended, like Return of the King.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
It's like just fucking end it. Oh, the second ending was good. Oh, there's a third ending. Okay.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, but it does have that. I would say that romance part is definitely a subplot, if not the main part.
I think it's the theme.
It's the love
That's what this movie is about.
to.
The two of them, passengers in life, what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess
what
if
else could it be? There's
Yeah.
no like I said, there's no mystery as to why they were woken up. It's random. They get hit by a fucking Texas-sized rock. It jars the overall system. It randomly wakes up one pod. I don't know why one pod and not, whatever pods that were linked up to the one
Yeah.
system that got affected. But anyways, it opens up one pod, and that's just that.
Okay, yeah. I guess yeah. What you see is what you get in this film.
It is.
Yeah.
Don't be waiting for
What you see is what you get, and yeah, anything else will just be going beyond the scope of the film, which I think they try not to.
Yeah. They definitely do not venture beyond that limited scope. It's not a thinking film
Yeah.
like Solaris or anything.
Yeah, and Chris Pratt's not like, Why me? I mean, J Law is probably like, why me? And then
She is a little whiny, but she's,
Yeah.
you know, New York, upper crust, you know, talking about shit like, oh, I got shit to say. I'll go tweet about it kind of person.
and we're like, yeah, Chris Pratt is like, I just want to build things.
He's salt of the earth.
Yeah.
His whole reason for going on that trip, right, is because he wanted to do something relevant with his skill set and his passion. He wanted to build things with his hands.
Well, because he mentions, right, like if it's broke, you can fix it or replace it on Earth. Whereas this one, you can just build a new thing or whatever.
Well, I think the quote is, they have problems that need fixing. And that's what he does on the new planet, you know, versus Earth, where we just throw things away and get something new rather than trying to fix or maintain.
But Passengers, great job to Chris Pratt. Loved him in this one.
good. Yeah.
He's really good in this one.
Yeah.
J Law, she got the starring credit first. She was billed first.
Well, probably in her contract, you get that 20 mil. You want your name first.
Yeah, but she was secondary. Chris Pratt was the real star.
Yeah.
Passengers. But you definitely go watch CC.
Yeah, go watch CC.
I feel like I should address the whole sidekick thing. To be clear, I am no sidekick. You two are my bitches.
Right, got it.
I was researching for one of our segments, and I ended up on Yelp for Tamashiro Market, and I ended up reading reviews for like an hour and a half. I checked out the reviews for Yamas too, and I was kind of blown away by how many people not from Hawaii like poke.
That's super random.
Yeah, when I focus too hard, I get distracted.
What the fuck is poke?
It's like seasoned raw fish or seafood, sometimes in a sauce mixture, sort of like tartare.
Sounds awesome.
It's gross.
You don't like poke?
Do you?
Of course I do. That's the bomb.
I don't like seafood in general. I'll eat sashimi New Year's Eve time because it's like a family tradition, but other than that, I'm never like, I'm in the mood for some sushi or otherwise lazily uncooked marine life.
You'll eat oxtail, but you won't eat poke?
Oxtail is awesome. And it's cooked. Only hippies and hipsters eat raw shit.
Okay, shut up, y'all. You're making me hungry. And thirsty. Where's the wine at, bitches? Can't listen to you fags drone on without a buzz.
I'll get it, I'm closer.
There's some bottles downstairs. The ones with the kangaroo on it. Not the Francis Ford Coppola ones.
What the fuck is kangaroo wine?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's not made by actual kangaroos. That would be cool, though. I'd buy that.
I'd buy it for kangaroo blood wine.
Yeah, I heard it pairs well with koala brain.
Son, what the fuck is this? Ménage à trois?
What? It's good.
They should make the slogan, it's like an orgy on your palate.
I bet you'd like an orgy on your palate, sicko.
You're the one with the weird sex wine.
It's not sex wine. It's sexy wine. For sexy time.
Yeah, like right after jiu-jitsu, you and the boys can share a big bottle of Cabernet Sweaty Balls.
Yeah. You're both gay. Let's talk more wine. Where's your corkscrew?
In the kitchen. Hey, be careful. It's a big cork.
Yeah, it looks hard too. A big, hard cork. You gotta pull hard, P. It's a tight fit.
I heard the trick with hard corks is soaking.
Yeah, you gotta soak the cork.
Yep, when it's soaked, the cork can go in and out easier, even if it's tight.
Actually, when the opening is heated enough from the friction, it actually expands and contracts to accommodate the size of the cork.
Ah, that's good. I'm about to wine. What are you fools jawing about now?
Nothing.
Okay, kicking and streaming.
And cork soaking.
All right, welcome to this kicking and streaming. We had a couple good ones for you today. For my recommendation, I have the anime Berserk, The Golden Age, Arc 1, The Egg of the King. That's the whole title, which is currently on Netflix. Directed by Toshiyuki Kubooka. Written by Ichiro Okochi. So this movie is based on the manga Berserk, written and illustrated by Kentaro Miura. So Miura actually premiered this series in 1988, first known as Berserk Prototype, and appeared in the magazine Monthly Animal House, and then later semi-monthly in 1992 in the magazine Young Animal. So in Berserk, we're introduced into a world set in medieval times-ish during the so-called 100 Years' War. Armies are made up of large groups of mercenaries, hired guns, so to speak, in which battles are fought over castles, kingdoms, and empires. So the film opens up with a pretty gnarly battle. A siege on a castle is taking place with a focus on a particular fighter. Later we find out he is one of these hired guns, perhaps the best fighter in this army. And his name is Guts, like he got guts.
Like
So
Guts? Because
Yeah.
I feel like there's a Z.
no,
No?
with the S, yeah, Guts.
Okay.
Yeah. So the fighting settles down for a bit once the raiding army comes across the castle's lead fighter,
Go
Bazuso. Yeah. So it's Guts versus Bazuso, kind of like a Achilles versus Borgreus kind of showdown. I'm referring.
What's Bogrius, the huge guy? Nate
yeah.
Jones?
Yeah, I'm referring. Yeah, Troy.
Yeah.
That guy. So it's like Brad Pitt versus the tall white dude that was also in The Protector.
Yeah.
Tony Jaa took him out with the knee to the neck.
Yeah.
That same guy. So Guts actually takes him down, and it's pretty bloody. And so he made it look easy too. And Guts earned some extra coin by doing this. So while this was going down, there's actually another group just kind of waiting in the backfield, and they take notice of Guts in action. And so this group is known as the Band of Hawk, and rather excellent top group of fighters. Mercenaries, mind you, led by Griffith, who's
Mercs.
pretty well known among the crowd. A great fighter and leader, he goes one-on-one with Guts later and defeats him. And by losing, Guts now must join the Band of the Hawk. But it's actually good because Guts goes on to become like a good leader, leading the way on raids and such, and just being a well-liked dude among the fighters. And eventually is Griffith's right-hand man, just one level above Casca, another leader in Griffith's army. She's the woman. More on her later. In the film, years go by with Guts and the Band of the Hawk, and all their campaigns have been victorious. During one fight, though, the group comes across this monster demon called Nosferatu Zod. And he's pretty much a demon. It's a demon dude. After going at it, Zod notices this little trinket around Griffith's neck in the shape of a face. And he kind of leaves a warning to Guts that if he continues his friendship with Griffith, it will result in his death. So Zod flies away, like all demons do. So more on him later too. So Griffith explains to Guts about the trinket. He calls it a behelit, which will enable Griffith to rule the world one day in exchange for his flesh and blood, of course. So it comes at a price. You see, also that this trinket is what gives Griffith his strength and health as well. But I think Griffith's skills are all his own. He trained for that. So, But I think he can't really get hurt because of this thing. So now the Band of the Hawk are staying at this king's, kingdom for the time being after a victorious campaign. You see, Griffith wants to one day have a kingdom of his own. And in order to do that, he has to do a couple things. So a lot more things that require, more time and, of course, more than one movie. And this movie is just the tip of the iceberg. I can tell you right now, though, it gets more demonic, bloodier, there's more character development. We get invested in everyone, and a lot more of the, the Hawk, So for this first installment, there's quite a few more fights in this one that I haven't mentioned. And it gets pretty wicked. Some backstabbing, some twists within the politics of the story. And it's interesting. And it's also epic. Yeah. So there are two other movies that follow this one. I believe more coming out next year that dive into more post-Griffith kind of stuff. Nice. More Guts on his journey. So, but it goes back and forth between these two guys. So if you're into medieval settings with demonic subplots and dark fantasy storytelling, check out Berserk. Get into it now. Yo, watch CC.
I have The Town That Dreaded Sundown, the remake in 2014. It is directed by Alfonso Gomez Rejon, written by Roberto Aguirre Sacasa.
I get it. No, I don't know.
And Earl E. Smith, who wrote the original. It is starring humongous actors that everybody knows: Addison Timlin, Veronica Cartwright, Anthony Anderson, and Travis Hope. So, in the sleepy bumfuck town of Texarkana, which lies smack dab on the border between Texas and Arkansas, serial killings in the style of the Moonlight Murders from 65 years earlier begin again. The film opens with a little slideshow and backstory voiceover about the Moonlight murders and how in the 70s there was a film made about the killings, and every year the town gathers to watch the film. From there, two teens, Jamie and Corey, leave the drive-in where the town that dreaded sundown was playing. They go to a deserted cul-de-sac to make sex.
They make it.
They make the sex. But their romp is interrupted by a masked assailant who orders them out of the car. He instructs Jamie to face the wall and Corey to lay on the ground. So he kills Corey, and then the killer instructs Jamie, "This is for Mary. Make them remember." Then he disappears into the darkness.
Oh.
Next, a random murder at a motel of a newlywed couple. The man's head is decapitated and used to break through the window into the room. So, the killer chases the woman to the bathroom, where she jumps out and falls a couple of stories and compound fractures her leg upon landing. She makes it to the car, but can't put the pedal to the metal on account of her busted leg, so the killer hops in and stabs her overkill style.
Oh, Jesus.
Then they send in the Texas Rangers to investigate the killings, led by Anthony Anderson.
Oh.
I always loved him since I saw him in fucking Romeo Must Die.
Ah.
He's like, "You see that? Nuts all in your mouth." But Jamie, along with Nick, a creepy nerd who works at the archives, begin their own investigation. So, of course, they get attracted to each other. They eventually make sexy time. And the investigation deepens. Suspects abound. Murders keep on coming, all building to the final reveal and violent, kind of hilarious climax. This marks the comeback for Orion Pictures, which had probably the most standout cinematic logo from my childhood in the 80s, meaning that when the logo was flashed on a trailer, I was most likely going to love the film. It would later be replaced in the 90s by New Line Cinema and Dimension Films. But anyway, welcome back, Orion. I love this film. I heard of the original, but I didn't know that a remake existed until it just popped up on Netflix a couple years ago. It looked cool and I went for it. It's not as creepy as It Follows, but it's definitely more enjoyable and less preachy. Also, the gore is great. I hate when these kind of hack and slash movies go limp and skimp on the gore. This ain't the 50s, bitch. Only the masters can use shadows and inference only. So show us the murders. And this film does exactly that, repeatedly. Nice body count too, about 10. It has a cool, if somewhat contrived plot, but this film realizes what it is and never overtly tries to pomp itself up, trying to be something it's not. Which is kind of ironic because it is very much more than just a hack and slash. It works the original film and the murders it's based off of into the lore of the town. It is a town that is very much haunted by the horrific events of its past, and one of the ways of dealing with it is to make light and almost parody it by rewatching the film and telling scary origin stories of the Phantom Killer. That's what they named the masked dude, who just basically wears a sack. He didn't bother to go look for a hockey mask or anything. He's just like, fuck, it's about murder.
Lazy.
Lazy, and his name, Phantom Killer. His name is just be Thomas. So it's also a town that is really two towns, half on the side of Texas, the other half on Arkansas. They've got two sheriffs, two mayors, two of everything except a sundown. That they invariably share. And the film is directed by Alfonso Gomez Rejon, and if that sounds familiar, that's because he directed the indie gem Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. And you can see a lot of that styling in this horror flick. It is beautifully shot with great use of color temperature, texture, and washed out tones. Coupled with the voiceover narration and internal struggle for identity, this is actually an indie coming-of-age story neatly wrapped in a studio slasher flick. The search for identity is pervasive in this story. The protagonist, her ally, the killer, even the town itself is driven by a need to discover and define themselves. But don't let that discourage you. Like I said, horror heads, lots of gore to go around. It's available on Amazon Prime, and it's definite Yo Watch CC.
Yeah.
That Sundown movie sounded pretty cool. Very murdery. That's always cool. I don't know about that indie beautiful photography ass bullshit. Stop being so flowery, you goddamn a-hole. You guys haven't done anything off of Hulu in a while. They don't have good shit?
They do have a lot of good stuff. I'll be getting to some of that in later episodes.
Yeah, I'm doing the Exorcist series and Outsiders.
Like Ponyboy Outsiders?
No, these are hillbillies who live on a mountain full of coal that a bloodthirsty corporation wants to dig up. They also make a pretty mean moonshine, or farrow wine, as they call it. I'm pretty sure it's absinthe. Fuck, I'm gonna try absinthe. Come on, Trump, legalize absinthe! And RPGs, but mostly absinthe. You ever tried it, bro?
No, never.
So up next, what is this Love Me If You Dare?
If you'd wait for the segment, you'd find out all about it.
Secular insanity.
So for today's secular, I have the French film Love Me If You Dare, written and directed by Yann Samuel, starring, please forgive this pronunciation, Guillaume Canet, and the Oscar-winning Marion Cotillard, something like that. As children, Julian and Sophie developed a game of dares, which basically challenges the other to do some outrageous and inappropriate task, initiated simply by the statement, "Are you game?" As they grow older, their lives and the game gets more complicated, leading to the ultimate dare with the ultimate stakes, life and love. Yann Samuel's seemingly whimsical tale of childhood sweethearts pays homage to the visual stylings of other Hollywood-influenced French directors like Jean-Pierre Jeunet, Christophe Gans, and Luc Besson, but it is anything but whimsical or sweeping. This is a dark tale of two broken people trying to connect. The game that initially brought them together now threatens to ultimately tear them apart. The game itself is sadistic. It begins as a way for Julian to distract himself from the pain of his dying mother, and for Sophie to dispel the isolation of being Polish, which, in this part of France, is a bad thing, I guess. The story spans more than 20 years of their lives, and the sequences of dares escalate as Julian and Sophie begin to use the game as a means of hurting each other. They are unable, even as adults, to express their feelings of love and sorrow, so instead they use dares to derail and detract the other's life. It gets pretty sad and ridiculous. The film is artfully photographed and the camera moves with the kind of kinetic American cinema employs, but this is definitely a French film. This is about as close to a fairy tale as French cinema gets. I won't spoil the ending because it's definitely worth a watch. Just don't let the American trailer fool you. This is not a popcorn and date night movie, unless you're a sociopath that fancies themselves a romantic. Marion Cotillard is awesome as usual. She has the perfect villainous face and emotive eyes, which is crucial in the case of her character Sophie. Sophie is unlikable. She's sort of understandable and relatable, and I attribute that to Marion Cotillard, whose eyes on screen betray a vulnerability that softens the cruelty of her actions and venomous words. I'm not too big a fan of Guillaume Canet as Julian. He's not very likable either, and maybe he portrays the character flaws too well, in that I recognize my most petty and foolhardy self in him, so that makes me resent him. The aesthetic distance is just too close for me, which I guess is good filmmaking. We don't always like what the mirror reflects. So, if you're in the mood for a French romance that's darkly over the top enough to be satire, ask yourself, are you game? It's available to rent and buy on Amazon. Yo watch CC.
That's pretty fucked up, but I like it. The French. Even the tragedies are smug. So what's with this later tiger shit? I forgot to ask at the top of the show. Is it some pretentious French bullshit?
It's an old story by a dude named Frank Stockton. It's basically a thought exercise like Schrodinger's cat.
Please don't explain that again. There ain't enough wine in this place for me to sit through science.
So in The Lady or the Tiger, there's this king. He has a coliseum, and in it he hosts these public spectacles of barbarically poetic justice. There are two doors in the arena. Behind one is a beautiful maiden, behind the other, a vicious tiger. He has prisoners choose their fates by selecting which door they wish to open, only they don't know which has the lady and which has the tiger. If fate grants them the lady, they are deemed innocent of whatever crimes they stand accused, and marry and live happily ever after. If they get the tiger, they are fated guilty and get torn to bloody shreds.
Shit, I think I remember this from like middle school, right? The king has a daughter and a princess.
Yeah, that's the one.
And she falls madly in love with some poor dude, right?
Yep. And in this kingdom, that is a crime.
You gotta come with the money to get that royal honey.
No scrubs, none.
So the poor guy is arrested and thrown into the arena, obviously, and forced to choose a door. But which door? So he looks to the stands, to the princess, for a sign on what door to choose.
Right, because she's used her influence as the king's daughter to find out from whoever arranges the door game, I guess, which door has the lady and which has the tiger.
But here's where it gets complicated. If the guy gets the lady door, he has to, by royal decree, marry her, no matter his marital or betrothed situation, or else it's death by tiger.
The true death.
So now it falls to the princess.
She has to choose if she should signal the door to the lady and spend the rest of her days knowing the love of her life is married to some other chick, Or should she be like, if I can't have you, no one can, and feed his ass to the tiger?
So the princess signals to her beloved to choose the door on the right. And that's how the story ends.
What do you mean that's how it ends? What's behind the door on the right? The lady or the tiger?
You tell us.
It's obviously the tiger, right? Right?
That says a lot about you.
Damn, P, you dark.
Fuck you guys. The shortest straw. I'm telling you, it's gotta be the tiger. It's the tiger.
Alright, for this shortest straw, I have the 2013 film Iceberg, written and directed by Maya E. Rudolph. So Iceberg is set in modern day Beijing and focuses on 20-something Nova, a young woman who plays drums in a rock band. Now she has the opportunity to play at a music festival in America, and she is also falling in love for the first time with one of her band members, no less. They be a 3-piece rock band. And so she also has to deal with her father, who's against her traveling to the US to play noise, as he refers to it. So what does she do? Sounds like a stressful time for Nova. The opening scene is a medium shot on Nova at the bar in a moment of thought, maybe reflection. She's playing with a lighter, her band just finished a set. Now she doesn't want to go home because it's still early and there's nothing to do at home. Let's party. So that's what they end up doing, or it's inferred. So the next scene, we see an older man prepping what looks like breakfast. This man is Nova's father, and this is the conversation where she lets him know about her plan to play at a music festival in America. So 2 things come up from Nova's father and why he's reluctant to have her leave. So first, he brings up a past tragedy about 35 students who died at a karaoke bar, an explosion in a nearby city. So he's concerned about her safety and overall well-being at nightclubs and venues. Second, he's concerned about finances. Are you being paid? No. Well, travel expenses are already covered by the record label sponsoring the band's trip. So are they going to be paid for performing? Nova doesn't know. So maybe her dad just doesn't want her to waste time doing something for free. And in Nova's defense, yes, he doesn't see the magnitude of this opportunity here. But as a counter argument, yes, she's definitely taking a chance. It's an expensive trip regardless. Now cut to the next scene, Nova partying again. An endless party, it seems like. Everyone is having a blast, there's even white people in the crowd. A couple friends are talking about music, post-new wave. He explains to him what post-new wave is. Post means after, so it's after new wave. Yeah, I don't get it either. Just call it indie rock. Anyway, this is the scene where Nova wants to talk to her guitarist, D Yin. Maybe she's falling for him, but I think he just wants to make out. She's hesitant, that someone might be walking in on them because, she's still washing dishes. He don't care. And there's a moment where it's focused on Nova. Is this guy worth it? Now that's my interpretation. And I feel like she just decided then and there to keep it strictly business. And good for her. I don't think it's ever a good idea, to be seeing your bandmate. But if it works, it works. Just don't let it affect the music. So in the next scene, now we find out if she's leaving for America or not. I'm not sure because we see her purchasing a new bottle of dish soap. In the previous scene, it kind of focused on her running out of dish soap while washing dishes. Why buy soap for the house if you're going to be touring America? And we also see her carrying a bag of oranges she got from home. Does that mean she's leaving home then for America? I don't know. The film ends with her lighting a cigarette before she begins to practice. She counts off on her drum set and then boom, roll credits. It's kind of up in the air. I think she's actually going to go to America, but like on her own, on her own terms. She'll write her own music, take time to build up, work on fundamentals, and then travel when she's ready. She's going to go to the land of opportunity, and she'll be accepted with open arms and warm hearts because, America is all about diversity and the arts and lots of other stuff. I'll just stop it right there. In the film, there's no actual band performances. There's lots of music playing in the background and people holding instruments, but no real playing, which I would have loved to see, but, I guess we have to assume they can play music. The soundtrack is pretty kick-ass too, with artists like Boys and Girl, Little Punk, which I believe is the actress who played Nova, her own music project. She goes by Little Punk, and she'd be on Bandcamp. There's also Car Sick Cars and Dear Eloise. This is probably the highlight of the film, the soundtrack.
So in the film, the scenes are divided by title cards to help prep the scene that's about to be shown. Like the last one was titled "It's Gonna Rain Soon," which was a line that wasn't said by anyone. The previous ones were like "Endless Party" and "I don't want to go home, there's nothing to do at home." You know, these lines were all said out loud by someone. So "It's Gonna Rain Soon" can be interpreted in different ways. And as open-ended as it was, I feel Nova left. This was a nice indie short with an excellent soundtrack, up there with Garden State. Not sure if it's available anywhere, but Little Punk is on Bandcamp. And I don't think this film is available anywhere online either, aside from the trailer, but do check out the director's website. She has other projects as well. MayaERudolph.com. The film is called Iceberg. You'll watch CC.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention to any of that. I'm still stuck on this stupid Lady Tiger shit. I want an answer. It's the tiger, right? It has to be. Or else the story doesn't make sense. Who gives a fuck about a story where everything is predictable? Poor boy meets girl. Girl's dad is king. King puts boy in Russian roulette situation. Not to worry though. Girl knows which chamber is loaded and conveniently saves boy's life. There has to be a twist. He thinks she's gonna save his life. Instead, she sends him to the mouth of radness. Boom! Best story ever.
You're missing the point.
It's the Kobayashi Maru.
I don't know what that means, nerds.
The point of the exercise is not the result.
The point is what it reveals about you.
As the listener, you are the princess, and the princess is both the lady and the tiger. Will she, and by extension you, choose virtue or vice?
You would send your love to the tiger. So dark.
Super dark.
I'd send this fucking show to the tiger. Whatever it shit out would probably still be a better show.
We should rename the show the Tiger Shit Podcast.
I like it. What would our theme song be?
It'll probably go something like this.
I need more wine. Schrody's ladder.
Alright, for this segment I chose 3 films that I think Ono will hate because generally, for some reason, he doesn't hate any movies. So I wanted to see if I could offer up some films that I've seen and hate and see if I could get him on board. Let's make America hate again.
No, I don't hate any movies at all. I might not like one or think it's boring, but no, I don't generally hate any movies. The last one I was upset though was at The Notebook. I can't say I don't like that movie a lot.
Don't like, hate, same thing. I just thought naming it 3 films Ono won't like kind of sounds shittier than 3 films Ono will hate. That's a shitty segment title too, but whatevs at this point. I didn't like The Notebook either, other than the cinematography at the very beginning, but what didn't you like?
It's impracticality at the end.
Bro, if love is practical, you're fucking doing it wrong. What part of the ending did you find impractical?
The part where they die at the end, at the same time.
You didn't like that they died?
No, I don't like that they died at the same time. It was neither tragic nor romantic. One should go and then the other, never at the same time.
Nothing about The Notebook is real, so why does that sappy ending bother you? I'm not defending Notebook, I'm just saying he finally got her to remember who she was, who they were as a couple, and what they shared, and then they crossed over into the next dimension of existence together, so how's that not romantic?
Well, here's some prime examples. Romeo and Juliet, Titanic, Crouching Tiger, Return of the Living Dead 3.
Julie and Kurt go into the incinerator together, though.
No doubt Kurt went out first before Julie. Yeah, sure. He got bit. He was still mostly human when they went in.
You are reaching, son. Hardcore. I can understand not liking the Notebook, but I guess I don't understand your reason still. Check it out. Romantic. 1. Conducive to or characterized by the expression of love. The dude spends every day reading the damn Notebook to her in hopes of jogging her memory. I'd characterize that as an expression of love. 2. Of, characterized by, or suggestive of an idealized view of reality. Still being in love with the same woman you've been in love with for 80 years or however long, and then dying together in each other's arms at the same time? Would you not call that an idealized view of reality? Neither of you has to be alone anymore, and then sad that the other died, etc., etc. Anyways, let's get into the shit before we turn into a romance podcast.
Yeah, so I saw these 3 films. I'll give my take on them. But before that, why did you think I would hate these films?
Well, because 2 of them I hate. I hate them because I loved them as a child, spent a bunch of time and money hunting down copies on the internet, only to discover that they are awful pieces of shit, and my childhood was a lie. Namely, Rawhead Rex. The short story that it's based on was fucking completely terrifying to my little child self. This fucking monster, Rawhead, gobbles up a little girl graphically. He reminisces fondly about the good old days before Jesus and the Christians, when he would ransack towns by the dozens, eat newborns in front of their mothers, and then rape the mothers to death. He comes acid and pisses fire.
Jesus.
Priests kneel before him. He's like Zod meets the Xenomorph meets H.H. Holmes. I remember the film being just as terrifying. Well, it's not. The short story is great, but the film is celluloid garbage. Note to parents, Clive Barker's Books of Blood may not be an appropriate read for children.
Damn. Yeah, I probably should read the short before I watch the movie. But for Rawhead Rex, I liked it.
What?
Ding, 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 ding. Well,
How could you look?
like when you gave me these movies, I thought it was gonna be like all off sync. You know, like the audio bad.
Like terrible.
Yeah, like the footage is shitty, but I'm like, it's clear. Like I can see all the
Different
characters.
cameras.
Yeah, like I don't see like the what is that guy like carrying the grip?
Oh, the boom.
Yeah,
the boom mic slide into frame.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like that. It's like, huh?
The monster makeup head, like
Yeah.
you see the dude's real ear.
But see the monster though, like that was like it was pretty shitty.
Really?
Like I mean,
I thought that would be one of the clincher points.
like it was like it wasn't like you can tell it's a low budget film with just like the way the monster looked, but I mean it wasn't like entirely bad. Like like I wasn't bored when I watched this movie. But the ending was kind of cheesy when it was the woman who had to hold the stone, and then you got all the light show at the end killing off.
Well,
Rex.
it makes it look like he's scared of pregnant women in the movie, but in the
Right.
story, it
Yeah.
tells you the real deal about it.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because then that short story sounds a lot more. It should have been more graphic.
It's fucking terrifying.
Like,
But I don't know if they would have allowed that movie to be made based on the
Right.
story fucking gobbling up babies and
right.
raping moms and fucking...
Some of the kill scenes were okay. I mean, it wasn't too bloody, but like.
But they did the piss scene though, right?
Yes. What was that? Like what?
He pisses acid.
Well, but like it didn't burn the guy.
Well, it kind of melted his face though a little bit, right?
Oh, because then because he went on one knee.
I mean,
like, he
not
went
as
on
bad
his
as
knees.
RoboCop guy. But...
Oh right. Like, yeah, he pisses on. Like, was that something else? Piss. Okay. Because
Like,
when I saw
yeah.
that, I'm like, this is weird. That was like really weird.
With no exposition that Rawhead Rex is from a time before Christians, it just feels like the movie is trying to be like, fuck Christ and fuck church and shit.
Okay, I didn't get that either. Like this guy dug up a big stone like pillar.
Actually, that's in the story too. It's kind of like random. It was
Yeah.
in his backyard.
And like,
But apparently that stone is magic and it held him there for like
and like
3,000 years.
I would have called like a an archaeologist or something, like, oh, check what I what I found.
Yeah.
But he just wanted to get rid of it like as yard work. Like
Yeah. Well, they describe him that way in the story too.
okay.
Digging up his own death, son. Like, the minute you realize something was different, I would be like, you know what? I'll just abandon this project.
Yeah. And then the girl on the cover is like in a small part where like that kid's brother, he's trying to get with the girl, and she kept saying no, but then they would just like on and off make out.
Oh shit, he eats that kid though, yeah.
No, the kid survives, or he kills the older brother. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
He eats him.
Yeah, he eats the brothers. He
Um,
eats some little kid.
And then it ends with him putting flowers, and then you think they would have covered up Rawhead Rex with like cement or something, like
They just put
fill
the
that-
stone and done.
Like I think they just buried the hole with dirt. Like I would have gone all out and be like, fill that thing with cement.
Yeah, this is the worst thing that ever happened to our sleepy
But-
little town.
Put-
Cover this shit up.
Yeah.
This is ground zero.
like put a cross on it or a 4-leaf
Yeah,
clover. say
Some
it's,
Muslim shit, a
yeah.
Shinto temple.
Okay,
Like,
you
come
got
on,
cover.
guys.
And then he pops out. Like, all right. But I mean, it wasn't a bad movie. Like,
I'm pretty sure it is. The lightning shit, like, that looks totally drawn on. Like they drew it right on top of the celluloid frames.
and I think if you should watch it at least once. I mean, this is Clive Barker's like work.
So the next is Neon Maniacs, and it's a film I remember seeing as a kid and loving. It had monsters, killers, and creepy masks. So of course I was going to love it. Well, that is a memory that should not have been touched. It's terrible. It's just horribly terrible.
This one wasn't bad either. Aside
I feel
from
like you're doing that to spite me.
No,
it's horrible. It's like
it's
what they like. Not even neopunks, just like actual, fucking second wave punk in America. And
like these neon maniacs are like, there was like a list, like someone's looking through like trading cards. They do battle, and it's a bunch of film geeks going to war with these neon
totally
maniacs.
realistic.
And but the acting was a little bit B movie ish.
Yes, because this
Like,
is like
even-
a Z movie.
Even
No, that's not. It's okay, like realistically, it's a D movie.
yeah, it's kind of low grade, but like it wasn't.
No boom mics coming into the frame.
No,
so.
and everything's in sync. Everything is
Yeah.
fine. I mean, the presentation was good, but I guess the story was just kind of tame. But I mean, it was fun to watch for sure.
That's how shitty the 80s were. This film actually made it to theaters and theaters in Hawaii. So, it got a release.
I would say you should watch just to like as a
Don't, because it's expensive. I don't even think it's available to like
all right.
on demand,
Yeah, it's not. You gotta
You gotta shell out for the fucking DVD
just to
itself.
see it. Yes.
Which is not much. I don't know if there's a bunch of extras, but it's like literally somebody recorded from their VHS to their DVD recorder thing.
And then the artwork is decent though.
The artwork is good.
Yeah.
But
You gotta sell it. You gotta sell that for us. Shell out for that price for that one. Yeah, this is, or maybe it might be in a library somewhere in the middle. Like,
yeah.
it could be, but no, Neon Maniacs was pretty good. It's pretty good.
Well, the third film I picked because I know you hate The Notebook, or excuse me, strongly don't like The Notebook, for reasons that are nonsensical. So I wanted to see if your need for practicality in cinematic love stories would make you dislike An Affair to Remember. The plot is fantastical and super unrealistic, but I love it. It's cultured and savvy and whimsical and just everything you'd want in romantic cinema. I don't honestly think that you'll hate it, but I don't know if there is a film you'd hate at this point. So if anybody out there has a shitty movie idea, send them in. Let's see if we can find a movie Ona will hate.
Yeah, just bring me notebooks. The Notebook.
Yeah.
No, but An Affair to Remember, I
Yeah.
loved it.
I
loved
figured
it.
you might. I don't
But
know how anybody could.
so I mean, yeah, it's the first time I've seen it, but I've heard it about it like on
Right.
and off.
It's a pretty famous film.
Yeah, but like every time this movie is mentioned, it's referencing
Empire State.
yeah, Empire
Or
State Building. So I thought
Seattle, yeah.
that was the ending. So you read the synopsis, and then tragedy happens when they have to meet. I'm like, no, there's still like an hour left in
I
this
know.
movie.
Yeah,
Where's the
there's a
tragedy?
bunch of movie left after the
Yeah.
Empire State part.
And I thought she died, but no, she just.
Yeah, we find out after him, like, she hates me, she
But like,
let me come.
is this movie really an affair? Because neither of them were.
It's
married.
not an affair.
It's more like
not an affair as,
context, yeah.
in
that
the
all.
context of, cheating on your spouse
Yeah.
affair.
But they did it really classy.
It was super
Yeah.
classy.
Like on the boat, there's a scene where they're on the stairs. You assume it's inferred, I guess, that they're kissing, but it just shows their legs like on the stairs.
Mm.
And so I guess it's inferred that they are kissing, but I like to think they didn't get to that part yet. Like they're like just
They're
maybe
still,
like
yeah.
face to face, like Eskimo kisses or something.
Aww.
Like you just I guess
Eskimo kisses.
yeah, I guess
It's like
you interpret that on your own. But like I like to think they didn't until like when they got off the boat, right? They kind of give one kiss.
what, in Sicily or
No,
wherever?
before they left the boat.
Oh.
And I think they do one kiss, and then he kind of kisses his fingers and puts it on her hand, and then she kisses that same spot.
Ooh,
Oh.
old school.
Oh, okay. But then it's really interesting how when he's doing his paintings, he kind of his paintings are done by memory, from memory.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never like he's looking at something.
At a subject, yeah.
Yeah. So when they get to the end, right? And then he's like a painting, or he had a painting of her with the grandma, right? And he's like, I've seen this. I've did this painting like you were sitting the way you do. And then, but he didn't sell it to anyone. He gave it to someone who was, I guess, in a wheelchair. And he just kind of gave it away, and then finds out that it was her that he gave it to. I was like, oh, goddamn. Mind blown. this is should be a reference point for how a classy romantic movie should be done. Like not like The Notebook where they're fucking just reading shit.
Well, that was just overly saccharine, melodrama.
And Niccolo Ferrante, that's his name. Terry Mackay.
The artist?
The guy who played
Niccolo.
Oh, that's his name. Yeah, he's the artist. And then the other girl was like she was a music teacher. Terry was a music teacher. But it's funny how like they dropped their like secure, what would have been a happy life.
Or yeah.
And well, I think it's more security because then they go into the arts and they're like they look like they're struggling.
As insecure as you can, as far as
she's a music teacher and he's a painter. It's like, oh, okay. But you know that they had the hots for each other. So I feel like their present relationships on the boat. I mean, well, they still had it was a legit relationship. Like they're just doing a long distance thing, and then I guess they happen to stumble upon each other. But what I didn't get was he like a known
playboy?
Like player? Yeah, playboy.
He's a known playboy.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good thing he paints.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I feel like playboys gotta have that brooding side, artistic. I don't paint though.
Yeah, I don't paint either.
I play music though, so
yeah.
That's our dark outlet.
But
That and like Satanism, but like whatever.
It's never worked in our favor though yet. So.
Yeah, not yet. Like nobody's swooning.
Oh. But an affair to remember, most definitely. All three movies. Yo, watch CC.
Yes.
Tiger shit idiots. Whose idea was that, Schrody?
Mox. Mine too, I guess, since I inspired it with my unconditional love of cinema.
Well, congratulations. That segment truly lives up to the Tiger shit brand name. If you guys are gonna phone it in, I may as well torture you in the labyrinth.
I like that segment.
Silence, fat village idiot. No more singing, no more stories, no more freaking nothing. Let's just do the set of sex because I like less. And wine and cheese. And when are you gonna do a list about top 6 films with wine and cheese?
I don't know.
Like movies to watch with wine and cheese, or movies with wine and cheese in the movie?
What part of Silence, fat village idiot eludes you?
How come only me silence?
How come only me silence? How come the sky's blue? How come Jesus wept? How come wine is good with cheese?
It's probably because of the pairing
I
of.
swear, if you answer that with sciencey wiki nerd shit, I'ma scream and claw your face off. Seno sex. Get mama more wine, nerd.
The box. We came. Now you must come with us. Taste our pleasures.
Alright, welcome to a special Seno 6. I always say special, I feel like every Seno 6 is special.
Special, yeah.
So it's
Well, this one's
yes.
within our show, so
Yeah.
it's not that special.
Yeah. But we'll be actually talking about our favorite foreign films.
Yes.
And it does
We
get
watch
pretty.
movies, son.
Yes, we do. And
Not only horror every time.
but these ones, I feel like these are my favorites at the moment. It's been a while since I actually like picked up, a film in that category. But I mean, there's a lot. I mean, out there. But these ones come to mind first for me.
Yeah,
especially.
yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So very inspirational list. I would say.
All sex. His list is all sex.
Okay, so
Consensual.
before we get started, just so you know, if this is your first time here, Seno 6, we list movies with
On a
theme.
particular topic, theme, yeah. We rank our 6 films.
Yeah, from 6 to 1.
Some honorable mentions.
If you hear this, that means we have different picks for that particular slot.
And if you hear this, it means we had the same pick.
All right.
So, let's get into it.
Foreign films, go. All right. So at my number 6, I have the film Talk to Her.
Ugh,
Talk to Her.
don't. Or more so, rape to her. Not
There's-
to blow
there's-
the movie, but
There's a lot more to it than that. This one came out in 2002, original or directed by Pedro Almodovar.
who's famous for doing these kind of sensual, erotic kind of films.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sensuousness in this film, but what blew it for me was what will blow it for you. Probably. Everyone except, I just want to say weirdos.
The original title, Hable con ella.
Con ella.
So I believe this is in Spain.
Con Raúl, yeah, Spain, yeah.
Spain. So basically there's is Talk to Her. So it's in reference to these 2 women who are in a coma, and they show how they got into there, but it's kind of focused on the guy who's I don't say focused on him, but there's a particular guy
Who loves opera,
who loves opera,
crybaby ass girl.
and then there's the nurse taking care of
Male
the,
nurse.
a male nurse.
So I already know he's kind of funny kind.
Yeah. And it
Gaylord.
basically just it's events that take place while they're in a coma. I mean, you get a sense of what their life was before.
It's foreign, so they non-lineate a bunch. There's a bunch of flashbacks, and they like to title card it like they introduce it as blah 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 and blah blah blah. So the relationship between the main guy and whoever, like the coma girl, the main guy and the nurse, and then the main guy and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I like how it ends though. I like
Yeah.
because I thought that was a clever like book end to it.
Right. And so it's got a really cool soundtrack too. I mean,
I must have missed it.
yeah.
I was too grossed out.
But it there's that mystery in there, and there's a lot of dialogue. So
It is kind of dialogue
Yeah.
heavy.
very dialogue heavy. Not much action to it, but if you kind of like,
Well, it's bullfighting.
right, there is bullfighting. Yes, one of the girls is actually a bullfighter. But there's that kind of a romantic twist to it, in a sense, foreign independent kind of twist. But I do recommend it if you like that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff, yeah.
Foreign romance mystery.
Yeah.
It's very
romantic
dramatic
romance.
though. Very dramatic. More on the drama side than there's romance.
Yeah. Well, the romance is subtle.
So,
Subtle. Yeah. So for my number 6, I have the girl with the dragon tattoo. I'm gonna try and pronounce this Swedish.
which one is this? Numi Rapis or
Well, yeah.
Numi Rapis? All right.
Well, the other one was in a foreign film.
Right. Okay. True. Yeah.
So this one, I'm gonna butcher this, but forgive me, Swedes. Mansom hatar kvinnor. Kvinnor.
Eins.
Right? And try to push her down there. So it is directed by Niels Arden Opliff, and it is written by Nicolas Arcel. So, well, here's what IMDb says, but you can't capture what the fuck this movie is about in one paragraph.
No, it's a very complex movie too.
Super.
Man,
And the running length for the regular cut is 2.5 hours. The running length for the director's cut is like a little over 3. Okay, and this whole time you got to read Swedish, or you got to read English and listen to Swedish, and choke flashbacks, choke intricate fucking relations.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a journalist is aided in his search for a woman who has been missing or dead for 40 years by a young female hacker, and that's the Nomi Rapace character, Lisbeth Salander.
I read the graphic novel of the first book. Or
There's
the
a
first one.
there's a graphic novel.
Yes. It's
I
called,
know there's a novel.
it was a novel, right? Yeah. And there's a graphic novelization of it. So
Yeah,
that
graphic is right,
it's
probably.
very. When I got to that part, like, what? This was at Redbox. How did? Why is it at Redbox right now?
I will say that even the American one gets pretty graphic at the same time that the Nomi Rapace.
Mm.
Lots of fucked up sex in this movie. Lots of fucked up story in this
It's a-
fucking movie.
And just reading it, like, it's so complex. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, why is she even in this story? Like in the beginning parts, because then you have that guy, right?
Right.
Who's like,
The old guy, who's the brother.
the Daniel Craig part for the American version. I guess he's the main guy.
Oh, Ninquist. He has the partner.
Yeah.
They're like, he's a disgraced journalist.
Okay, that guy. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, apparently he cracked the story on this fucking money dude.
Yeah, and that's what I read. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, what the fuck that got to do with a 40-year-old murder or whatever? Well, he needs some money, and since he's disgraced, this one fucking weird Swedish guy
And
offers
then
him
and then Numi Rapace character is supposed to help him with
finding clues to what
yeah.
happened to his sister. We've just confused you, but basically that's what watching this movie feels like.
Like, I feel like I'm gonna have to read the book first, just so I don't get lost during the movie.
I don't know if it requires that much study, but I mean, if you love it, then yeah, go for it. But yeah, I love this movie. It is so brutal, and I can see why No More Face has made it to, Hollywood cinema and just worldwide.
You think that was the movie that launched or helped kind of boost
Well, I'd never heard of her until that.
until that one?
And then I was like, hey, fucking, she's in Aliens.
Prometheus.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Aliens, Prometheus.
So that was your number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 5. I have My Life as a Dog.
A nice clean movie, right? No sex, no rape.
Yeah, this was actually okay. So it's 1985. It's actually directed by Lasse Hallström.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, and it stars, or it co-stars a young Melinda Kinnaman, Joel Kinnaman's sister, older sister. Yeah, so she's like
Love
actually
Joel Kinnaman, man
like-
crush.
yes, she's like a 10 in this one, I think.
Oh, years old?
Yeah,
I was thinking on a 10 scale of hotness. But if she's 10, whoa. Take it easy. You're
No, she's actually well, when the movie came out, she was 14.
playing a 10-year-old.
Well, probably younger, yeah. But you can't tell. But yeah,
I
the
gotta
kids-
see this movie then, because
Yeah.
I've never. He likes dogs though. Didn't he do Hachi?
Who, Hallström?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Almost every movie he does is dope. Fucking
Yeah.
salmon fishing in Yemen, The 100-Foot Journey.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But in this movie, so it takes place. I don't even know what the country is. This was my first introduction to world cinema. So this was World Cinema 101. This was the first movie we watched. So this brother is actually they kind of separate from their parents and they have to go live with, I think, one of their distant relatives. So new town, new family, and so the title actually kind of parallels with this character. So his life as a dog. So he's kind of like not necessarily treated like a pet, but you get some of the characteristics of that.
It probably got lost in translation, the subtlety
Yeah.
of what he was saying.
Mm.
Right? What's the actual title?
My Life as a Dog,
Oh,
or the English title, yeah.
oh
Yeah, I can't even pronounce it. Mit liv som Hund.
Mit. What is it? German.
I have no idea. Or
What is
maybe
it, Mukt?
Sweden.
Sweden.
Just because
Well, Lasse Hallström,
Kinnaman,
yeah, he's Nordic.
yeah. So
Oh,
it could be.
Kinnaman is Swedish too.
Yeah, so it probably could have got lost in translation, the title. But it does parallel. Because in the story, he actually goes back and forth. The title character mentions, is it Laika? The dog that
The-
was sent to space?
Oh, I was gonna say Leica's the camera company.
Oh no. So
The
there's
dog
a
that they jettison into space.
yeah.
I don't want to
So
talk about that. That is super sad. That always makes me sad.
so it goes back and forth with like they bring that up.
Oh,
So
and he's likening his situation to that.
kind of yeah.
He's in a
Sort
pod,
of yeah.
left
Yeah.
for goddamn death.
In a very artistic, yeah, subtle way. And then so his new friend is uh Melinda Kinnaman. Her name is Saga in that movie.
Saga.
Yeah.
Dope comic
So
book.
so it's like a kind of an innocent movie. It's just him growing up, trying to get new or kind of break into this new environment, as would I guess a dog. You know, that's the title. And it's just a kid innocence kind of movie about growing up, but it doesn't take place like years and years. It's just maybe in the span of months.
Oh, Okay.
Settling into this new story. But as far as that goes, you just gotta watch it.
okay. I think I might.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of that that's not on VHS?
Yes, I have the Criterion edition.
Ooh.
The Criterion.
So for number 5, I have City of God.
Oh wow,
Portuguese title, Cidade de Deus.
that was an extreme movie.
That was a great movie. I fell onto that on accident. I fucking
I heard, like one review said it was just bad boys, or boys in the hood in another country. That's how they described it.
but
And
worse.
it's like yeah, this is a lot
Yeah.
worse. Like, oh.
Boys in the Hood is strictly the American experience of this. This one is Brazil's experience of it, which also ties into civil wars and revolutions and stuff. But basically, it is a non-linear as fuck film that follows two boys growing up in the violent neighborhood of Rio de Janeiro, and as they go on different paths, one becomes a photographer, the other a drug dealer. It is directed by Fernando Mireles, probably butchering that, and Katja Lund.
This one, did it win the Oscar for best foreign film?
Oh, no. It just was a nominee.
Mm.
But yeah, it got nominated for editing, fucking cinematography,
Yeah.
adapted screenplay. Screenplay is by Braulio Mantovani, based on the novel by Paulo Lins. Oh, Paulo is about as Brazilian or Portuguese a name as you can get. Paulo Carvalho. That would be as Portuguese.
And Alice Braga is in this one.
Oh, you would later see her in Predators.
I like the part where they get into the origin of like the dealer,
Who little
or like the apartment,
yeah.
and then it was first run by that woman, and then like one of the younger kids came by, and then like he grew up, and then he took over. That was just pretty brutal.
Yeah, I like how the bus driver, played by Sue George, who is also a great fucking folk singer. You'll know him from The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. He's the one who covers all the David Bowie songs,
Oh wow.
and he's the one at the end singing the Portuguese rendition of what the fuck? Anyway, yeah, that David Bowie song at the end. It sounds great in Portuguese too. But yeah, a great movie.
All right, number 4. Lovers of the Arctic Circle. Wow. Directed by Julio Mendem, written by Julio Mendem. The movie was released in 1998. Original title: Los Amantes del Círculo Polar.
Polar.
So,
Polar. Like
you know the polar lights that you hear? About?
The Northern Lights?
Yeah, they
Or the
mention.
Aurora Borealis or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's mentioned in this movie. It's shown in this movie, and it has
Is that when he's whacking off, or that's just the moon?
um no, yeah, it's later in the end. Like so, it's an important part of the movie. So it's a very romantic movie, very foreign
I'd say
independent
so.
romantic. So there's a lot of sex in this one.
Sounds super interesting. though.
Very
You gotta,
lustful.
you gotta tell him the palindrome thing.
Oh yeah, this movie is it's presented in like a palindrome. So you got the first. So you're not really giving. You don't find that out though until the middle of the movie, the meat of this palindrome. So a palindrome is basically a word. It's spelled backwards is the same thing. But I've seen tricky ones too where they have actual sentences
And they're all and that's a palindrome.
It's a palindrome, yeah. So it gets trickier.
Well,
at that
he's
point.
palindrome would be mom, wow, race car.
Yeah, in this one it's Anna and Otto, your two central characters. Yeah, and so this was the first movie. I think this was movie number 3 in my World Cinema 101 class, and this one got me into like actual research on films because it gets deep in this one. Lots of symbolism, and it's a pretty kind of epic love story because it actually starts out when they're young, and then they meet later in life at the right moment. But then it gets into the culture of the movie, which unfortunately I forget the name of which country this was based in. But it gets deep into the culture of that particular country, or it would justify some kind of off-ball, avant-garde styles in the film, or it gets kind of weird. But if you do that extra outside research, it kind of all makes sense. But as a movie, it's kind of experimental kind of presentation when you get to the weird parts. But as a love story, it does work because it's epic in that sense, not Notebook epic, but
So I know it's a palindrome.
and it's about destiny too.
Does it move non-linearly like that one romance movie, Blue something?
Oh, okay. So as a palindrome, as long as it's you can do anything in the middle, because it does get kind of weird. It it kind of jumps not necessarily back and forth, but it's almost like a dream kind of scape, like very uh outworldly in a sense, and then it kind of justifies towards the end and kind of almost a cycle in a sense. Um, so it's kind of yeah odd and a bit experimental for an American audience, but it did come out late 90s. So do check it out because yeah, if you like that kind of thing,
Yeah.
there's foreign
Well,
cinema.
I might want to see that just to see how it plays with that kind of time and palindrome.
And it's the same director as Sex and Lucia. If you ever seen that one.
No,
Okay.
we'll never. I don't watch anything with sex in the title, son. Well, for movies wise, if we're talking porn, then sex all over the place.
Same sport, different league.
Yeah. Well, I'll think more on that later. So my number
Cuatro.
4, yeah, cuatro. Oh, how apropos. The Secret in Their Eyes from 2009, or in their language, El Secreto de sus Ojos. It's set in Argentina. It's an Argentinian film. Of course, they speak Spanish.
Oh.
I think this has one of the dopest fucking one sheets ever, though. Anyway, this is another one that's kind of weird. 2 stories moving, actually 3 stories moving simultaneously throughout time. Similar to the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Okay.
So basically, it's a retired legal counselor writes a novel hoping to find closure for one of his past unresolved homicide cases, and he plays in his supposed unreciprocated love with his superior, both of which things haunt him decades later. So, I mean, there is a really a sick murder story that happened before, and it also lines up with a pretty awesome romance story that happens before, and both he never had a conclusion. He didn't have any kind of closure to. They were left both open-ended. He couldn't solve the case, and he was being chased by this mob that he, I guess, had arrested a bigwig too. So he sent away his boss, who he was in love with, to go live somewhere else.
Would you say this would be is there any cultural aspects to this film? Like
Not that I
do
can
here?
pick them, but I don't know Spanish or Argentinian culture very much.
Like things that they would do differently there and then they wouldn't do here.
Well, I know that they remade this movie in 2015, I think. And it was a piece of shit, even though it got like Julia Roberts and fucking
Oh.
Chiwetel Ejiofor and all of that. They totally changed the fucking initial plot of this
To
movie.
better suit an American audience.
stupid audience, yeah. I feel they just think we're stupid. The original is much better, but everybody says that, right? Anyway, it is directed by Juan Jose Campanella and is written by Eduardo Sacheri, based on his novel La Pregunta de sus Ojos.
Ojos.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, have you seen this one or the? Because I know you bought the movie. I know you bought the film.
it's still sitting on that shelf. I think I still have to get to it.
I know I have yet to crack open fucking Hush, the graphic novel. Yeah, shh.
Okay. All right. Number 3.
Numero tres.
Number 3, I have Dreamers.
Mm.
2003 Dreamers, directed by Bernardo Bertolucci.
Oh, Italian.
Yeah. Starring Michael Pitt. I'm guessing it's Louis Garrel and Eva Green. Eva Green. It's the first movie I've seen Eva Green.
I think her name is Eva.
Eva Green.
Yeah.
Eva Green.
Evergreen sounds like Evergreen. Yeah.
Eva Green.
Yeah, I didn't even know she was in that movie. I know that I just dodged this movie because I knew it was all about sex
Well, I mean,
and incest.
I was going through my foreign film phase, so just basically anything
Foreign.
French or Italian, like just this shocked me. Just like really like, because then, yeah, it's much different than American cinema, and like, I mean it.
Well, have you seen 9.5 Weeks? Would that be close? Although there's no incest in that.
No,
As far as steaminess. No, this is just its whole other level.
I guess, yeah,
Dreamers.
yeah. Well, with this one, yeah. So basically, there's an American in Paris, right?
Doesn't it kind
Hey.
of have a throwback to?
But and then we're dealing with hipsters and people, because it gets weird. Like they're kind of in the dream. The title says a lot, but it kind of speaks volumes.
Or they're
With
on
its
like
three-
opium and smoking opium the whole time they're fucking.
Not necessarily, but they're kind of like they're not in tune with the real world,
Mm.
and so they think they can. They're dreamers. They think they can do anything, and it actually kind of results to their demise. Spoilers.
Nice. I'm glad they die.
But like it's kind of weird, and yeah, it's very. There's a lot of sex. It's very lustful movie, but these are young people, so they're kind of in that phase too. The scenes I guess it kind of drives the story. Well, not necessarily drives the story, but with each sort of sex scene or sexual scene, it kind of almost defines that character and how they are, and there are just little bits of it everywhere too. And again, they're in a dreamlike reality. They're not in tune really. So it's kind of an oddball story. But I say watch it for the kind of interesting story. I mean, worth checking out once. You can get the edited version, and I think they just cut out the sex scenes, but watch the full one because it's the Dreamers. Dreamers. Woo! It's steamy. It's a steamy film.
Sounds steamy. For people who like steam. My number 3 is Life is Beautiful from 1997. La Vita è Bella. It is the Oscar-winning film directed by Roberto Benigni, written by Vincenzo Cerami and Roberto Benigni. This is just a fucking great movie. The father and his son during Nazi occupation, they are herded to one of the death camps, but to shield his son from the reality of what is really happening, he pretends it's a game. He makes a game of Nazi internment. So the son never realizes what this whole fucking, Jewish persecution is, and it's profoundly beautiful and sad. He makes it a hiding game for the son. Hide, and then if you hide the longest, you're the winner. So don't come out, reversing the other little kids who he doesn't realize is German and they're supposed to be there. And he also says, okay, whenever you see a guy with the officer lapel, you must be quiet and don't move, or else you'll lose, 1,000 points. But if you succeed, then you get 1,000 points or whatever. And supposedly when they get enough 1,000 points, the son gets to pick whatever he wants as a prize, and the son wants a tank, and he gets it in the end, sort of.
Sort of. Oh,
he gets
man.
it, but in a way that you didn't expect, and not the way the dad promised, but in a way that's both sad and heroic. But yeah, it's just really a great movie, man.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
Yep.
Kind of like was it the boy with the striped pajamas? Or?
Yeah, but way better.
Oh, okay.
The striped pajamas was good too.
All right. Number 2. I have Amores Perros.
Fuck.
Amores Perros.
Every time.
Alejandro
Inarritu.
Inarritu. Yeah, one of his earlier films. This one was another good one. And it's definitely one of those movies you can sit and talk about for hours trying to analyze this movie. So Amores Perros, it loosely translates, or maybe a direct translation of the title is Love Dogs, right? But you can kind of interpret it different ways. Love Bitches.
Dog
or,
love.
Or, yeah, Love for Dogs. Yeah, however you want to interpret it. And the movie, so we have 3 different segments, right? But they all, in the beginning, they all kind of overlap each other. So if you would put it like on a timeline, they all kind of coincide together. But it's different stories in the same kind of vicinity of the city. And each segment kind of, the main protagonist kind of parallels with the dog. So like in the first one, we have the dog fighting scenes, right? So it kind of parallels with Gael Garcia Bernal, right? So you can think of the dog as like he's kind of fighting for change, in a sense. Like he's the one that gets beaten, and he's taking a kind of a gamble at life, or taking a chance with this one woman, and then we kind of see what happens. The end result. It's all sad. Because he took his lickings, and then he ends up not getting what he wants. Right?
That sucks.
And then you got the second scene where the dog is missing in the apartment. And so that kind of parallels with the woman in her point in life. She's kind of lost as well. Because she's injured. I think she's a model. And she's bedridden.
Yeah.
And so when she finally finds her
Champagne
dog,
problems.
she kind of finds herself in a sense.
Oh.
And then you got the last segment with the old timer, with the old dog, who's kind of taking not a rebirth, but like a new take at life. He's taking a second chance on himself. Kind of. It can get really deep with this movie if you keep watching it over. And whether it's a direct translation or kind of loosely translated, the language, it speaks a lot if you get into it. Like Iñárritu. That's Amores Perros, yo. Check it. You better check it. And then that's before when he was always non-linear, and then now he's going for the long shots.
Yeah, super long onesies. Oh yeah, he's also winning Oscars now. Like legit Oscars, not the fucking foreign film Oscar.
No one wants those. They all want an Academy Award.
Right. Well, I mean, they have one for best foreign film, right? But that still feels like, we're just the best of this group of movies. So we gotta be the best picture overall.
Yeah, the elite is in Hollywood. That's the elite.
So yeah, my number 2 is, it's awesome, but it's also boring. It's nothing you haven't heard of. Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa, written by him and Shinobu Hashimoto and Hideo Oguni. Basically, it's about a poor village who is just getting fucked up by marauders left and right who steal everything. So they recruit 7 unemployed or Ronin samurai to help them defend themselves. So, it was later adapted for American cowboy movies as The Magnificent Seven. And this is just an awesome movie. It's a samurai movie, but it's not, because the action is not really good at all. I mean, it's from the 50s, so, it's mostly posing with the sword and drama music and shit.
But they innovated that kind of styling, right?
I think so. I know a lot of other poor movies like the Samurai trilogy followed after that, which fucking sucks dick. But yeah, it's just a great movie. I love it. It also has Toshiro Mifune in it, of course. I mean, he collaborated with Kurosawa like how many fucking times, but he's like what I think of when I think of cinema samurai. it's kind of a powerful and a sad movie, but they are more than just mercenaries, samurai. So when they give themselves selflessly to protect this village, I mean, it's sad, but also, they're duty bound people, and a Ronin is a shitty thing to be a samurai not attached to a lord.
Mm.
So, they found a cause, and that's what I guess gave their life purpose.
Nice.
But yeah, dope movie. So before we get into our number ones, obviously we always do the honorable mentions. So
Honorable mentions.
go for it.
First one, Departures.
Hmm.
Oscar winner, Best Foreign Film, 2008. This movie is about an unemployed cellist, or he's a cellist, yeah,
Concert Charles, yeah.
and he's looking for a job, and he comes across they're hiring to be basically morticians.
Yeah.
But in this particular culture, it's different because the way they prepare the body,
Yeah.
they do it actually in front of the relatives.
Yep. Super weird. Super high pressure.
It's yeah, and so this cellist is kind of shadowing his mentor, the main guy, and trying to follow what he does, and it gets it's yeah, there's a lot of pressure, and it's kind of almost not absurd, but just kind of dark in a sense, kind of morbid.
It is a little bit dark just because of it deals with death and funeral homes and shit.
Yeah, but it's not like they're gonna embalm the body. They're more like getting it dressed up for the viewing. And so what they do is, they put on the outfit that they're gonna be buried in. And there's a funny scene too, because then, when they're clean, they have to clean the body too, right? And then while they're cleaning, the mortician has to go ask the parents, do you want me to prepare him or her as a woman or a man? Because then like he kind of runs in, like I guess they thought of the body as a girl or a woman, and then while they're cleaning, they're like, oh,
They
okay,
find out, yeah.
he's a man. So, and then I think they asked him, and they said like, just keep going. I forget if they dressed him up as a woman or a man, but
Yeah, I can't remember that either.
it gets into like the stress of being that mortician, and there's also that subplot about him and his relationship with his father, because we don't find out, like, I don't know if he doesn't remember, but like towards the end we finally see who he is, but like in a flashback. So there's that.
I forgot that revelation.
Yeah.
I just remember he's from a bumfuck town. Couldn't get work in the Tokyo Symphony. Now he goes back to the bumfuck town and he gets a weird ass job.
Weird ass job. But then he gets good at it, and then I think I don't know if it's like his new calling. A departure.
Yeah. Not only this Earth realm, but
Right.
departure from departures.
And that was in
it's also
Japan.
levels.
That's in Japan.
Yeah.
Second honorable mention. Ito mama tambien.
Every time with this movie, any foreign thing.
This was like, this is kind of it's very I guess again lustful movie again, and Itu mama tambien means like a direct translation, and your mother also. That's what it is.
Oh.
So Itu and your mother also. But
Tambien is also.
yeah, it's the also part. But then if you haven't seen it, it's about two kids on summer vacation.
One rich, one poor.
Yeah, and
older chick.
they ask her to go along, like, and she does.
She's like somebody's cousin's girlfriend or something, right?
Yeah.
They're at a soccer match or at a country club,
And they're talking to her. Yeah.
So,
So,
we're
like-
gonna do this wild, sex-driven road trip. Want to come?
Yeah.
I
Last
guess.
honorable mention is On the Job.
I never even heard of that. I don't
It's
think.
a Filipino movie.
Oh.
It's actually kind of like a modern day kind of I want to say gangster film. Oh, it's mostly focused on hitmen. So
like gangster, not like hood gangster,
yeah,
like mafioso.
yeah, that kind of yeah. So it's in the Philippines. So the language in this movie, I think it's Tagalog mixed with English. So you get both on and off. So what they do is they actually take inmates from prison and send them out into the world to do hits, and then they send them back. And so it's kind of like this guy who's been doing it for a while. He's gonna have to pass the torch.
That
and
sounds cool.
it's kind of like and it gets pretty violent, like a Tarantino violent.
Oh, okay.
Lots of police action, and then there's a subplot with the new
Trainee.
not trainee, but like
mentee.
he's been promoted and now he's in the field, and so he has to trying to figure out where all these hits are coming from, and so you got the other subplot now of the old timer who has to pass the torch, and does he want to though? That's the thing, and so there's little twists in the movie, and they show you what they do in prison and how like the training of the new guy, like you got to be able to like take out young people and old people.
That's cool.
So like it gets sad. Like you see this like 80-year-old guy and he's like, "All right, your time's up," and he shanks him.
Oh,
Yeah, that's sad.
I love training sequences.
Yeah.
Oh, this one sounds pretty good. I mean, is it available widely for purchase or view?
Yeah, it's on Prime. You can actually purchase
It's on
it
Prime?
for $7.99
Oh.
on the job.
Yeah, for my 3 honorable mentions, I have Departures as well.
Yes.
Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Ooh.
I forgot the fucking probably like Le Pack de lo fucking Lobos or whatever the fuck French is for wolf. No, it's Latin lupus. It is kind of like a weird movie. It's a period piece set back in the old fucking times. Okay. Anyways, there's this beast, and no, this is a historic piece. It's called the Beast of some bumfuck town or
Like
bumfuck
Vikings
village.
time?
No, more close to like Victorian or that kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
So there is a creature supposedly going around this one village and just killing off people, and it seems like the king can't do anything to stop it. So he dispatches, I forget his job, but he's also a basic badass killer. Anyways, he has a best friend who's a no-talking Canadian or American Indian, played by Mark Dacascos.
Oh, my brother, my cousin.
Yeah, and it's pretty badass fight scenes. You gotta check it out. The director is
Banana way.
Christoph Gans, I think is his name.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's the same guy who did Silent Hill and Crying Freeman.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He has he's kind of similar to Luc Besson in that he likes to move the camera and tell stories similar to American action films, but there's still that French cinematography turn and lighting and coloring and all that. It's very vivid and lush, but they're also really engaging and almost horrific creature scenes and great fight scenes. And then the last one, Irreversible, which was actually on my top 6 list, but I had to pull it because it was just getting a little too rapey and sexy, lusty.
It's a good movie though.
It's a great movie, but it's a hard to watch movie.
It is.
After you already know the plot. I mean, it's hard to watch first time around, but you're so interested in where it's going.
Its presentation is really good.
Yeah, it's told from the end to the beginning.
And you can't reverse it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and then, yeah, the it's very symbolic, and it is a dark movie, and it keeps that tone
super
too.
dark, super dark.
And until the end, though, when it kind of like
the end pulls up into a light, happy ending, but it's sad and ironic because that's the beginning. You've seen where this thing ends and climaxes.
Yeah, that's the odd part. Yeah, it is weird. Like, so they kind of experiment, with that
kind of fucking with linear.
Yeah, what you call it? Reverse linear.
Yeah, reverse linear. Yeah.
Well, it's backwards. That's what it is. It is irreversible.
It is irreversible, and it's a great movie. It's got Monica Bellucci.
Yeah, one of her more better performances. A really great performance by Monica Bellucci in this one, though.
Yeah,
sure.
Super good.
Number ones. I have 2001 Amelie.
Ha! Nice.
Of course. Directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. You probably know him from Children of the Lost City and Alien Resurrection.
Alien Resurrection, yeah.
Yes. Starring the one and only Audrey Tautou. With Nino Quincampo and Dominic.
No, Nino Quincampo is the name of the character.
Well, you got him. Quincampo? Colignon.
Yeah, Colignon. No, Colignon.
Bro Todo. Bro do to. Right.
Oh, Bredoto. Bredoto.
Bredoto.
No. Bredoto.
Bredoto.
Oh, yeah, I remember that family. Anyway, dope fucking movie, right?
Oh, one of my favorite movies ever.
Well, maybe tell them the plot if they've never heard of it or seen it.
So basically, Amelie is it's very fast paced. Like the first 15 minutes, they present
Yeah, you
Amelie.
get her whole upbringing.
Yeah, so it's just a kind of a modern day romance story. Girl living in the city,
Quirky.
single woman. I mean, she's have on and off relationships, but she comes across. It's actually set
Around the time of
Princess
Di's,
yeah pass
I want to say murder.
accident.
Well,
The
paparazzi
accident.
murdered her.
And so she finds this box, kind of a box of trinkets, and what she wants to do is find the owner of this box, and when she does, kind of secretly, she brings that event kind of brings new life into that character, that owner of the box, because he hasn't had that since he was a child. So she lived in his apartment when he was
When he was a child,
young
yeah.
as a child.
So that gives her such a high, right, that she decides to keep going.
Keep going and try to bring happiness into everyone else's life. And then it's impressionistic, or an impressionist kind of presentation, because it's based off that Renoir painting.
You recommended this movie to me, so I went out and I bought it, and I got stoned to watch it, and I couldn't make it past the opening credits. So it put me off for a while until I tried it again, and then I've seen since then I've seen it like a million times.
Yeah, the painting is the luncheon of the boating party, Renoir. So it kind of parallels, or that interpretation of that boat. So Amelie is the center of everyone. So she's the one kind of radiating this happiness, but she's trying to find her own, in a sense. So
Amelie of Montmartre. Yeah.
and and she tries to find true love in this at the same time too. Nice, quirky kind of
Scavenger hunty
kind
kind
of romance.
of courtship.
Yeah. And that the courtship is throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's long, but it's worth it to the end.
The humor in it is so awesome too.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, he works in a porno.
Oh
store.
yeah, he works at a sex shop. Yeah.
Or like she answers the phone. It's like, are you shaved? Excuse me. We don't like bush here or something. So, yeah. It's really
Isn't
very
he also a projectionist too? He has a couple of jobs. Kikampo.
No, just a porno store. Oh, he works at the carnival as one of like the guys.
Oh no, he's also a mechanic for the photo booth at the subway station.
No, he has that the photo album that he's collected of just pictures.
Oh, okay.
And then so
she thought he was the mechanic.
No, so because then she found that book, right? And then there's always this one guy in there, and then they're trying to figure out like who's this guy that's in there more than the others.
Right.
And so the mystery is like, okay, who is this guy? And so Nino is trying to find.
They go to find it together.
She kind of sets it up so that he finds out. She already knows at one point.
Oh.
And then so she wants to bring illumination into his life.
Right. To finally he can solve that mystery that he's been trying to.
And so she does that, and then that's like the high point. Now, how about her?
Right.
So, and it's
kind of like Emma,
yeah.
Jane Austen's Emma, but with more quirky weirdness. She's not matchmaking. She's paying it forward ish.
Okay, that's different then, yeah. Because
I've seen it a million times, but I don't even remember the ending parts.
Because then, I think these are all selfless acts. You think? I mean, she's not trying to get anything out of it.
Well, just the rush of feeling goody.
Oh yeah, then it's not selfless. Yeah, she just wants to feel good about herself.
But I mean, if it helps people, then what's
what's the harm? Yeah, but then and then at the end, she gets her own happiness. It's well, that's not a spoiler. You should have seen this already. 2001.
I mean, it's independent and it's foreign, but it also feels Hollywood. You know they're gonna end up together.
Yeah, but in this kind of French
Now, Love Me If You Dare.
Pierre.
Not so much.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But and the soundtrack by Jan Tiersen is the bomb.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's so.
It is so good.
Yeah.
I can hear it playing in my head now.
Yeah, and again the soundtrack too is impressionist. It's that era after romanticism.
Oh.
So it's very upbeat.
Of music.
Yeah.
I wanted to say classical music, but yeah, of that kind of music.
Yeah,
But it's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's so great.
So that's my number one, Amelie, for sure.
Yeah, well, if you couldn't tell, that is also my number one as well.
Ding ding ding
Yo,
ding.
get the buzzer. Oh, the buzzer. No, ring that bell.
Yo, Amelie, shout out to Audrey Tautou. I love all your films.
She's so quirky, cute.
Bro, I want to learn the French language. I can just.
Yeah. French sounds so great, though.
Yeah. So that is it for this Sino 6
Yeah.
foreign films. If you want to take a chance on any of these films, do it.
Please do, and then
Please,
let us know, yeah, what you thought of it.
Let us know what you thought of Irreversible.
Yeah, actually, any of these, but yeah, Irreversible.
Yeah.
For you horror fans out there, because I guess we've been tagged as a horror podcast.
Would you throw that's a
you might-
subcategory? Or horrific events. That's what
Yeah,
I said.
no, it's not a horror film, but it is horrific. So I think horror fans will appreciate the horror of it, the realism of.
And it gets real in that movie.
Yeah, it's
It
horrific.
gets real for about 15 minutes in that one.
It's also horrific because of the ending. In
Oh.
the sense,
Like
when
the
you
real
find-
ending.
Yeah, the real ending, not the beginning
Oh,
ending.
yes,
right,
yes,
when-
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
Alright.
yeah, great movie, and hit us up. Let us know. All right,
Peace.
back to the show.
I don't watch that foreign shit, so I'll have to take y'all nerds' word for it. Any boo! Chop chop, dorks, let's wrap this meat burrito to go!
Cool. Thank you all for checking out today's episode. Please tell your friends about the show. We'd love you for that. Please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. You can do so on iTunes. And if you could spare the time, you'd be doing us a huge favor by rating and reviewing the show as well. Feel free to hit us up on Twitter. We love the interaction. Check us out at cynical_mass.
That's CINECAL_MASS. Same goes for Facebook and Instagram. Check out our Tumblr, cinephiles-cenobites.tumblr.com. And you can also contact us anytime through email with any questions, comments, movie recommendations, suggestions, or to say hi. Please write us, cinephilesandcenobites@gmail.com.
As always, stay rating Oakland.
Yes, and thank you again, listeners, for checking out the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to say hi. I'm on the tweets at This Is Ono. That's This Is OHNO. Please do check out my music podcast, takingaleadmedia.com, on Twitter at TTLM Podcast. Also, my gaming channel. Search on YouTube, Give Me Seconds, on Twitter at Give Me Seconds.
Broadcasting from the Blood Cave for Nekko Media, Cinephiles and Cenobites, /tag Podern Family, /tag Movie Pod Squad. I'm Monica Pussyfoot with Mox and Ono. Keep the lights on and check under that bed, because there's only one universal truth. No lives matter. That means you.
We have candy. This is a Nekko Media podcast.